Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me again. In this video, I wanted to talk about age and about weight and inactivity. During the pandemic, a lot of people just went home, sat on their couch, and didn't move for basically 2 years. Watched Netflix, Hulu, BritBox, whatever. We sat there, we ate, we watched TV, we didn't go to gyms, we didn't go out walking. And like in any real American household, if you have a treadmill in your home, you use it to hang clothes on and to stack boxes on. It's just unfortunate. We can't get enthusiastic about a treadmill in our own home. It's just too close. We could use a treadmill out of a gym or an exercise center, but when it's in our own house, it's used for hanging clothes on. Now, during the pandemic, I put on a lot of weight. A lot of weight. Now, back in 2016, I had a heart attack, and I had stents put in and all that, and I got a good change of life going. I changed my diet, I changed my exercise routine. I was losing weight, I was getting better physically. And then we get hit with the pandemic, and then all that seemed to change. All my routines, exercise routines, eating routines went out the window. On top of that, my father, who's 89 now, he developed Alzheimer's and progressively vascular dementia on top of that. And so I had to basically stay home with him and not do too much. Now, that's an excuse I use, and it is sort of true and sort of a lie. Because my father's not as bad as he could be, as I know other people have. I've had experience with other people who are much worse than my father. But I just never got back. I get back into the motivation of it. I put on all this weight, and now I'm technically, or really, morbidly obese. I'm not 600-pound life kind of morbidly obese. That's really obese, and I have no idea how people could get that big. I'm uncomfortable at my current size. I have trouble. I don't want to eat when I get to this size. And that's one of the things that happens. We sit down, we eat, we change what we're eating and how much we're eating. But that doesn't do much at all. Really. It doesn't take fat off you. It doesn't help you lose weight. It might help you with some bloating, but that's about it. It's one of those things that's sort of irritating. You can sit there and eat salads and spend months and months eating salad, and you don't feel any better, and you haven't lost much weight, and you haven't gained any muscle. It's just one of those things that it's annoying to us. What we have to do is be active in order for us to not only burn calories, but to lose fat and to build muscle. Excuse me, I'm winter time here in Kentucky, and we have a lot of dust and allergens in the air, and I've been coughing up a storm. I don't have COVID, but It's seasonal allergies. It gives me a coffee throat. We have to get active. We have to be active in order uh, to keep our health. And one of the things that happens when you get older is that you cannot rebound from anything like you could when you were younger. You cannot break a bone and then have it heal up as quickly as when you were younger. You can't gain weight, stop being active, and then get back into a healthier size or a healthier frame of physicality like you could when you were younger. It takes much longer. And routines, once you slipped out of your routines, it's very difficult to get back into them because it takes so long to get back to where you were. And you actually never will get back exactly to where you were. You will always be a little bit less than you were before. That's why routines are very important, and we cannot break them. We gotta stick with them. Activity. And I'm not talking about walking from your couch to the kitchen or just walking around a little bit. You have to do a lot of things to keep your to not become frail and not to turn into a Mr. Morbidly Obese. And it's very easy to slip back once you begin to progress. Because one thing they never tell you, is they keep telling you to get on a scale, and they'll tell you how, and you can see how heavy you are or how much weight you have on. And a lot of times it seems like I'm not getting anywhere. I did all that for 2 weeks and I only lost 2 pounds. That's because if you're really working out, changing your diet, building up protein, eating enough protein to build muscle mass, when you lose your fat, you gain muscle mass. And when you gain muscle mass, that puts weight on you. And sometimes it can be more than the fat weight that you've lost. That makes it seem like you're getting nowhere when you actually are. When you build muscle, your shirts, your clothes can become a little tighter, and for a while until you get to the point where you're losing fat and your muscles have stopped growing, unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and that kind of person. You just have to stick with it. And any activity is very important when you're older. Any activity. Stretching is very important when you're older. Be surprised. You have to loosen your joints. You have to get your joints flexible. Keep them flexible. You have to worry about your posture, or else you'll begin to bend a little bit. And you'll become weaker and weaker if you don't do basic stretching. So every day you got to get up. You have to do multiple times a day. You have to do all the stretching. Turn your head. Hold your position. Do all that. Lift your legs up, which is very hard for some people, but you can put your hands on a counter and just lift your leg. Lift your leg. Lift your leg. Knee up. And get that going a few minutes a day, and then progress to a point where you can do more activity. Now, I know a lot of older people try to rush into things, and they go out and they start exercising like crazy, which can just overwhelm your system. And you'll work out for 3 days, and then you'll be sort of feel like you're broken for the next week. You got to build up your stamina, and also, which I recommend, that guy telling me this, change your diet first. Don't change your diet and then start on an exercise routine at the same time. Don't give up coffee and smoking and change your diet and work out the new workout routine all at the same time. Not many people can pull that one off. You have to be one heck of a narcissist, locked into that mindset to be able to do that. Now, build your diet first. Spend a week, 2 weeks, working on your diet. Then, start adding exercise slowly. Build your routines up. Now, for very frail people, and for people who haven't done anything in a long time, I recommend very simple exercise activities. I've already talked about stretching. That's super important. Super important for both your flexibility and for your heart. Surprise you, simple stretching like this, movement, lifting your legs, is super good for the heart. But when you're starting off fresh, starting off from scratch, you don't have a bunch of equipment in your house, and you really don't want to go get those little weights at the gym, or go to a gym, and then you start getting the smaller, dumbbell weights. You don't have to do that. What I'm talking about is building routines in your own home for people who do not have a treadmill, do not have an exercise system in their house, a gym. If you're not rich enough to have that kind of thing, or enough room to have that kind of thing, even an exercise bike, then you can do other things to work your way up to where you can go outside and do walking. And one of the problems about being older, you don't want to go outside all the time. In the rain, if the air quality's bad and you've got breathing difficulties, you feel better in your home. But once you go outside, you start coughing. Once you go over to a gym, you got to risk being around other people who could infect you with COVID because they don't feel bad, but are carriers. And I don't know about you, but I can't really exercise with a mask on. It's very difficult for me to breathe, especially at this weight. And I'm a lot heavier than I look. I've always been that way. I weigh much more than people perceive me. I am over 300 pounds now in this weight. And I'm only 5'10". I was almost 6 foot, but I got older and shrunk. I'm 5'10". I might be shorter now. Who the heck knows? But I'm just one of those people who can carry off more weight. I'm big bones. I don't have big bones. I don't think I have big bones. I've never seen them, so I'm not real sure about that. But this has put a lot of stress on me, this weight. Now, I'm going to talk about building routines in your home, inside where you're safe and feel safe. You want to be able to have routines that cannot be broken or interrupted. What I mean by that is, it's raining. You can't go out walking. I wouldn't recommend going out walking with an umbrella, power walking in the rain. The gym closes, or there's a new outbreak of COVID, and nobody wants to be around anybody else. Any of these kind of problems, you're stuck at home, you built your routines at a gym, and you can't go to the gym for some reason, you slack off on your routine, and that can easily take you downhill, because 3 days off your routines, workout, exercise routines, for an older person, you can't rebound like you did when you were a kid, or a teenager, or a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old. You can't do it. You have to maintain it every single day. You got to keep doing it, even if you don't really feel like it. Now, one of the things you can begin with at home, if you don't have weights or wrist weights, ankle weights, or the treadmill with the clothes on it, is start off simple. Especially talking really especially about older people who are frail, have not been active, have very little strength in their arms. A soup can. That's all you need. Well, 2 soup cans. The chunkier, the better. Do this. Do this. You can watch TV and do this. This has no weight. If you're so frail you can't pick up a soup can, you need to probably get with a doctor real quick and get into rehab. Physical rehab. Maybe even a care home. Do this. You don't even notice it, but this small amount of weight is the beginning stages where you can work yourself up to actual real weight and not have to go spend the money on those small weights that don't weigh anything, under 1 pound, that you're never going to use. After your initial, you're never going to touch those things again. Ever. Unless you have to restart it. Do this. Watch TV and do this. Slowly but surely, it builds up a little bit of muscle mass. It gives a little bit of resistance, which gives you the beginning of the process of being in a better physicality or becoming. And once you're done with these simple things, like I said, chunkier the better. I'm not promoting any soup brands. You can work yourself up to those weights of the dumbbells. Me, I have some, but I'm not using them yet. I'm using these. These are wrist ankle weights. And I will tell you the brand, TheraBand. TheraBand. These are simple 2.5 pound ones. And let me tell you, I can use these without a problem now. My dad can barely lift one. My father. But you could put these on. And like I said, they're wrist and ankle weights. You can put them on your ankles, but But you can begin that process by just putting on your shoes. Sorry, I moved the table. Uh, Putting on your shoes, and if you got some heavy boots, put those on, and then stand in place, lift your feet. It'll actually give you some weight resistance. That's all you gotta do. You just do this, all that, and slowly but surely, you're building yourself up, building up muscle, building up stamina, and that's the important part. Stamina. Once you begin to get stamina, you begin to get muscle. It's not very hard to be active. You can sit there and watch a Netflix movie or TV series, binge watch it. If you can sit there and binge watch a TV series, you can do this while you're doing it. It's not that difficult. But it is that difficult. Up here, it's really easy to just be too tired or too bored or too preoccupied or too into the television show to be able to focus on anything else. At home, use these kind of things, use a soup can, do this. Walk in place. Put your shoes on, walk in place. Let's talk about run in place, walk in place. Stand up, do this. Lift your feet. If you can't do it standing by yourself or without any support, do it on a walker. You don't have a walker? Put your hands on the counter. Walk in place. If you're prone to dizziness and falling, put a chair behind you. Do it with a chair. Same thing with standing up. Put your hands on the chair. Stand up. Stand up. All this small activity can build you up enough that you can progress to better activity, but really, or better exercise, but really, these simple exercises and stretching are something you can do at home, and so you will never be disturbed inside of your routine. Basically what I mean is you won't break your routine because you will always have the basics at home. Even before you go out to do the walking, walk around your neighborhood, walk around your building, power walk or just walk. You do these at home. Do these exercises as well. Do the stretching. If you can get into Tai Chi, if you can get into yoga, and that's something you can do, this guy's not doing that. I can do Tai Chi, but yoga, I don't want to see what I'm not putting my feet over back up behind my ears. I can't do that. I couldn't do that when I was 20, and I'm not going to do that now, and especially not now. I'm going to be working out like this at home. If it's raining, I can do it. If the gym is closed, I can do it. If my car breaks down or the buses stop running, don't worry about that, because you have the in-home basics, and if you've got an outside exercise routine, that's fine. But when you can't do that, stay home, double up the your normal daily routine at home. And this will maintain the good physicality, stamina, and it will help progress. It will help you progress into a better, healthier way of life. Now, I'm going to be making videos now about my efforts to shed all of this weight. And I'm going to do it as embarrassingly as I can, other than show you what's under these clothes, because that ain't going to happen. I don't want to see myself in the bathroom mirror with no clothes. Thank God it fogs up. I'm not showing it to anybody else. Well, except for my virtual wife, Maria. We've been married online for 7 years. She lives in Chile, and I live in the United States, in the state of Kentucky. We have a good relationship. And she's not seen under these clothes yet either. So you're not going to see it. I want everyone to be mindful that if you're really elderly, you may be really elderly. If you're prone to falling, if you're prone to dizziness, you need to take it easy. You need to go slow. You need to not push yourself too far, too quickly. Get the soup cans. Sit there. Do this. Try not to stand too much. If your circulation is bad, try not to do too much, too soon, too quickly, or you could harm yourself. My father has fallen trying to do basic exercise. And it's not really exercise. He has trouble bending over to pick something up. He can go straight over. That's a problem. But we're working on that. And I've been working on him more than I've been working on myself. And that's what I realized. I've been neglecting myself because I've been caregiving for my dad, more concerned about him. But what happens to my father if this guy has an issue and ends up in a hospital or worse? My father will be on his own with no one to take care of. So I have to take care of this in order to take care of him, in order to take care of the rest of the people in my family. But it's more about me. I want to be healthier. I'm tired of this, what I've turned into, and I'm not going to let it continue. I will never be on my 600-pound life television show, but I could see myself ending up in a wheelchair, too heavy to do anything. I could see myself suddenly having diabetes because I wasn't doing the right thing physically for myself. I'm not going to let that happen. I don't want that to happen to you or anybody else. Don't do that. Let's all start. I'm shaking the table, man. I'm shaking the table. I want us to all begin the process of becoming active, building stamina, improving our later years, because no one else is going to care about us enough. They'll just want us in a hospital bed, just laying there for the rest of our lives. We're not going to, because we're the past. Well, this past is right here in your face. And I want you to be here in my faith for as long as possible. So let's work on that. Thank you all for viewing my channel, and I will see you again soon.